Studio at PayneAutomall.com.
Happy Tuesday. It is now July 1st, 2025. You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News. News Talk 710 KURV is also at Radio Para Mi. Download that free app. Show producer Fred Cruz, AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine on standby. So how much more rain we're going to get? We'll see what Jeffy says in about 3 minutes. I'm Sergio Sanchez. Again, thank you for being a part of the program, you and family. Join us at Radio Para Mi. Download the free app. In Brownsville, police have arrested a second person for the death of a 4-year-old at a Brownsville daycare center. 38-year-old Sandy Ruiz was arrested yesterday and charged with injury to a child causing death. Investigators say that the 4-year-old died after being left inside a van following a field trip. Late last week, 34-year-old Karen Silva was arrested, also charged with a similar charge. Both women reportedly employees of the daycare center. It's 7:06 on the Valley's Morning News. Texas farmers are getting more welcome news from the White House.
The Trump administration is working out the details of a temporary pass that would allow illegal immigrants to work in the agriculture industry. The plan is praised by farmers who say they've been struggling for years to find enough people to pick the crops.
It's something that we've kind of been dealing with for years, and we hope that with this administration, we're headed in the right direction.
Russell Baining heads the Texas Farm Bureau. President Trump told Fox News that the people approved for this pass would pay taxes. Back in April, he floated a similar plan to improve the visa process for those working on farms and in hotels.
That's reporter Michael Board. USDA will be allowing cattle and horses to be brought in from Mexico.
In May, the U.S. banned live cattle, horses, and bison imports through U.S. ports of entry along the southern border because of concerns about the New World screwworm in Mexico. Their larvae can burrow into the flesh of a living animal, causing serious and even deadly damage. The USDA has also launched a program to eradicate the screwworm. U.S. Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins says that starting July 7th, some entry points along the border with Mexico will be reopened to livestock. They'll start with locations in Arizona and New Mexico. The port of entry in Del Rio, Texas, will be open to livestock on August 18th, and the point of entry at Laredo will be reopened to livestock on September 15th.
That's Stephen Pickering with that report. Heads up from the city of McAllen, warning McAllen residents about an increase in bee activity. They posted a video online. A couple of McAllen residents had to be hospitalized about a week ago after a bee attack. They say, you see any swarm activity, avoid it and call the city. It's 7:08 on the Valley's Morning News. And as of today, paper plates on those vehicles, buy new vehicle, paper plates or a thing of the past.
Starting today, dealers will issue metal license plates. The paper tags were too easy to fake, and vehicles with them were often used in crimes. The car pro Jerry Reynolds says there were simply too many problems.
There was so much abuse, so many counterfeit plates floating around, people making copies of them and using them. You could buy them on eBay. It was that easy.
And if you're trading in your car, truck, or SUV, you'll be able to use your old plates on your new ride. Barbara Schwartz, News Talk 710 KURV.
Time is 7:08 on the Valley's Morning News. And as of today, college football changes. I understand. Colleges will be able to pay athletes directly. They have a cap on that. We'll visit that issue several times. Hey, and just in time, we got Chase Cock, the athletic director for UTRGV, will be our guest coming up at 7:15. Yeah, that will be one of the topics coming up, so stick around. It's Accu with the time, and I want to say thank you to Martin Farm and Ranch for 7 o'clock AccuWeather, and Dougie over at Martin Farm and Ranch, where they have Purina feed. It is the best. That's why they carry it at Martin Farm and Ranch. Certified dealer for Purina feed, Martin Farm and Ranch in Edinburgh. AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. All right, Jeffy. Chance of rain for today. Where would you peg that at?
100%.
I already got plenty this morning.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm going to keep the percentage really high just because this moisture is surging to the north. And it does look like it's going to continue throughout a majority of today. And, you know, despite the text that I sent you saying mainly early at first, well, now it's been changed to later. So we kept it in for the rest of today.
All right. And Texas travel affected by this rain, or is it just us getting
a couple spots?
Okay.
It's West Texas for sure. Central, like San Antonio, could see a little bit,
Yeah.
but definitely West Texas up towards Lubbock too. Dallas, a thunder shower possible, but that's about it today. And then dry all the way through next week for Dallas. Houston's dry all the way through about Sunday when a thunder shower is possible. And as I mentioned, San Antonio today and then Thursday could see some showers and storms.
Tropical coverage 2025. Anything else developing, brewing out there?
Well, the latest update just came in, so good timing on my tropical coverage team. Not a lot. A low chance of tropical development for July 4th through the 7th. That's in the Atlantic Basin due to a tropical wave just to the south of Cuba that could push off to the north. But the Gulf and Texas area, just the rain that's as a result of the moisture from Barry.
Okay.
I had to think about it for a second.
Yeah, everybody keeps forgetting it's Barry.
It's not that hard to remember.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for now. I didn't see much on the menu for today. Did you see anything on the National Day?
Let
menu
me
for
see. I
today?
can pull that up
Anything
here.
edible? We probably celebrate this.
Food calendar, food holidays.
I do need to recognize one group though.
Oh,
otherwise we won't get the mail. It's National Postal Worker Day.
Oh, nice.
And also postal stamp. So,
today, we got three things.
Yeah.
We got Creative Ice Cream Flavor Day. Superman is my favorite. International Fruit Day. So put some fruit on your pancakes for breakfast, or I don't know, make a fruit cup.
Yeah.
And then we also have National Ginger Snap Day, which I don't think I've had, to be honest.
Yeah, anything ginger flavored, I guess.
Ginger Snap cookies.
Yeah. Back to the creative ice cream one. What's the name of that place, Freddie? That where you get like different flavors and you ask the person to put like gummy bears and little chocolate chips. No, they have like a hard slab, marble slab. There he goes, hard slab. A frozen slab.
You mean the rolled up ice cream?
Yeah, those people that mix everything up, right? Yeah, it's there today because you're making up a new flavor.
That is such a good place. It's underrated, I think, but it's so good.
Yeah. All right, pal. Call you next hour. AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine on 710 KURV. Time is 7:12. A newly named national defense area for our area on the border is being seen by some as a key part of President Trump's border security effort.
These border zones are considered an extension of a military base. So when illegal immigrants are caught crossing, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says it's like they're trying to sneak onto government property.
You add up the charges of what you can be charged with, you could be looking up to 10 years in prison when prosecuted.
He's been a big backer of the national defense areas. The latest one covers hundreds of miles in Cameron and Hidalgo counties. Those caught will be hauled to Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio for temporary detention. No word yet when this will begin.
Google trying to find more juice, announcing a partnership with Fusion Systems, going to provide them about 200 megawatts of fusion power for the tech giant up northeast. Google announcing they expect up to 400 megawatts of power online by 2030 with their new partnership. The energy source is derived from fusing two nuclei, so the announcement comes as several high-tech companies are shifting to more nuclear energy to try to sustain the quickly rising demand of AI. And, of course, it's intensely power-hungry. This is the Valley's Morning News. This is News Talk 710 KURV. Join us online at Radio Panami, also live at YouTube Live and X Live and Facebook Live, especially 7 o'clock hour. Chase Conk, he's the director of athletics for the university, also now a new title. And I'm hoping a new parking space and salary as well. He's a new vice president for the university. The success of UTRGV expanding athletics, football programs, swimming programs. We'll visit all that next on the Valley's Morning News.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Your Houston Astros play here.
Left field. Good one. It's out of here.
Catch the action all season long on News Talk 710 KURV.
pregame on 710 KURV today, tomorrow, and Thursday against Colorado. And then it's the Dodgers. Man, I'm looking forward to those broadcasts. Astros baseball on 710 KURV, made possible by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women. And a big thank you as well to the Mission Economic Development Office. In the studio, Chase Conk. He's been with UTRGV as athletic director, right, for about half dozen years. And we got word a few days back that, well, he's renewed. He'll stick around several more years, Lord willing. And he also has a new title, like a vice president title. So I'm thinking new parking spot, real close to the building, and a nicer salary.
Well, you know, we blessed with Dr. Bailey's support of what we're doing. Not sure the parking spot was in the new contract, but I wish I would have talked to you before we signed it.
Okay, well, something to think about for renegotiation.
Noted.
So you're extended to a 2030 something or what?
2031.
2031. I was telling Chase off air, what an enviable position, what an honor it is. You must be all jazzed up and excited because very few people as athletic directors for universities get to develop a program, a football program, and expand like swimming programs, diving programs. Like you're in the middle of a revolution at UTRGV. It's probably a lot of work, but man, I bet you must be really excited with everything taking place on campus.
Yeah, no, it's a tremendous blessing. When it's hard to believe, 6 years. My family and I moved to the Valley in August of 2019. It has been fast and furious ever since then. Obviously, you throw the pandemic in the midst of that, but if you look at the past 6 years from our athletics department standpoint, couldn't be more grateful for the people I get to work with every day. And that's really been a big piece of our success is continuity with our leadership team at the institution, continuity with our senior administration and athletics, and the support from the community. But to your point, it is special, certainly special for me to be part of this. It's a tremendous blessing. But I think we, as a community, sometimes take for granted how special the Rio Grande Valley is and what we have to offer and what we have a chance to do when we all come together. And I think athletics is just a microcosm of what the Valley is all about.
And on this day that you're in the studio, July 1st, in case you're listening to this later on the weekend when we repeat this broadcast, on this day, July 1st, college football, college sports changes. So I spoke with a reporter friend who explained to me that, well, universities, aside from the portal that allows students to jump from university to university, football team to football team, or basketball team. Now they're working with a cap of $20 million or so if they create that in-house, where they got a cap to pay athletes directly. Just want to get your thoughts. And I don't know, now that we have competition on the money side and recruitment and the portal, how do we cash in on that to get better players at UTRGV? That provides us, I think, probably more direct path to bring some talent down here and create the program.
Yeah, well said. Today is a big day. I mean, college athletics the last several years, really the last decade, has been transforming. It seems like every year, and truly day by day, we're learning more about new rules, new policy, new regulations in our space, and also probably a deregulation of sort. As you talk about rev share, and NIL's been on the scene for the last few years. But today is a new day for intercollegiate athletics, and it's one of those things. It doesn't matter what business you're in. If you're in the media markets, if you're in the private sector, or you're in college athletics, you have to keep up with the changing times, and we've all seen that around us. And to be honest with you, so much has changed around college athletics that really, if you look at it, college athletics may be one of the late adopters to where things have been heading, just from a business standpoint. So we embrace the change. We embrace being able to do additional things for our student athletes. But all that is, what's the ROI? What's the return on investment? And we want to make sure that we're positioned at UTRGV to be able to show our investors, our donors, and supporters that this is a cause worth supporting, and that there is an ROI in its success of our athletics department.
Has the portal and the opportunity for students to jump around, maybe you can get more senior players, is that helping you in developing the football program faster?
That's a great question. And the answer is absolutely. As you talk about, Coach Bush, our head football coach, one of the pieces that was really intriguing to us is that he was the first offensive coordinator at UTSA for Coach Coker when they started their football program. At that time, the portal wasn't around, right? But you fast forward to today, and how UTSA built their program, a dozen years ago versus how we're building our program. The portal, you live and die by the portal, right? You can lose student athletes that maybe you wanted to retain or keep, but at the same time, your coaches have the ability to get older, and that's what you described. And so I think you'll see a great mix on the field this year because of the portal. It's helpful.
Well, now that universities can pay the athletes, I don't know, is that part of the plan to develop a fund at UTRGV to make sure we're not a farm system where they start plucking good players from us and take them to bigger universities?
Yeah, absolutely. And today, another piece of this is institutions have had the ability to opt in to this new model or opt out of this new model. And UTRGV is opting in to this new model. Now, will it take us some time to get where we want? Absolutely. We have a lot of, I use the term competing interests, but they're all great interest to us. We're really building the infrastructure of our department. We're doing about $180 million in construction. We're building our fan base. We're trying to grow our season ticket supporters. And so we're doing a lot of the traditional things that we needed to do to catch up. The next step and the next space for us to be in is how do we use resources to better attract top talent? And then to your point, top talent that we want to retain to compete for the Vaqueros.
Chase Conk is the athletic director at UTRGV, also named as a new vice president for our university, and has overseen the development of the UTRGV Vaquero football program, and of course, new programs and diving, swimming for women as well. Try to balance out, provide women's athletics as well. With that natatorium, that beautiful facility in partnership with the university, might there be more exciting swimming programs like water polo, things like that? We're talking about like Olympic style competitions as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the facility. It's not just one of the nicest in the region or state. It's truly one of the nicest in the country. Pretty neat that not only do we have our own program that competed for the first time this past year, but we've already hosted 2 conference championships when we were previously in the Western Athletic Conference. And so those are big economic drivers when we can bring championships to the Rio Grande Valley.
Like a swimming competition and diving and all
It is,
that?
yeah. And when we brought in the WAC championships, we didn't even have a program at that time, right? So we're hosting the WAC championships and our program hadn't started yet. I'll let you in on a little bit of news that we'll announce here soon officially, but we're also on track to host the 2026, our new conference, MPSF. We're going to host the championships again in February at the Farr Natatorium. And so you're talking 13, 14 teams that come in, hundreds and hundreds of student athletes. They stay for an entire week, the fans, the families.
Nice.
And so of all the championships, it's truly one of the bigger economic impact championships that we can host. And we want to continue to do that. As you talk about other sports, right now you mentioned the 2, football and women's swim and dive. We want to make sure that we get those programs off the ground and that we fully put our arms around them and support them. And then as we look at growing our athletics enterprise, there'll be other opportunities for us down the road.
Chase Conk is UTRGV Athletic Director. He's also Vice President at University. He's been signed up to stay with us to at least 2031 if he wishes to stay. He has developed the UTRGV football program, and we got other nascent programs on the swimming side. In this new era that begins July 1st today, during the time of the broadcast, where universities can actually pay for athletes to come and play for the university. I was told by a reporter friend that 75% of those funds could be applied to football, but 15% could be applied to basketball, and then the rest to something else. I didn't hear baseball in that mix. We have an awesome baseball program at UTRGV.
Incredible.
So how can we recruit, pay, develop that program to the point where we can take it to the next notch? Because we're not that far, I think, from
We're right there.
Right?
Yeah, we're right there. And a credit to Coach Matlock, right? And to your point of the percentage breakdown, and you're hearing institutions, say different things, right? It's truly what's their philosophy on their campus. What do they want to double down on to create that return on investment? And as you talk about NIL and revenue share, we have the ability, and we have created a lot of revenue opportunities with our baseball program. We had 83,000 folks come through our gates this year.
Wow.
Truly incredible. We're top 30 in the country in attendance. And that's with the big boys, right? So when you look and you see where our logo is placed amongst the country from an attendance standpoint, it was nothing for us to have 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 a night at the UTRGV baseball stadium. And so, yes, we are committed to baseball. As you talk about opportunities for our student athletes, that is high on the list for our baseball program. The community has rallied around this program, and obviously winning a Southland championship this year was a big step for us. And but we're still hungry. We want to get back into an NCAA regional. It's been decades since we've been at that level, but Coach Matlock's the guy to get us there.
Yeah, it will help with recruitment, I suspect, by getting the name out there, constantly being in playoffs and activities. But on the recruiting with the piggy bank and recruiting with the portal, I don't hear much of baseball being thrown around as far as college athletics right now. Why is that, you think?
It's you hear a lot about football, right? And you hear a lot about basketball.
Yeah.
But baseball, the sport is growing. And I think that's and it's always been popular, right? I mean, you look at Omaha and you see the College World Series and the attention it gets when we start postseason play in the regionals and the super regionals. But that's what as we've grown our brand and baseball has been a huge part of it. This past year, truly the country was enamored with what was happening here in the Valley. As they would tune into the ESPN Plus broadcast, as they would keep up with us on social media, they see us as a region that loves baseball. And so I think you're only going to see that grow here as we continue to have success. But nationally, I can't speak for how others are going to spend their resources, but I know that we're committed to it, and we're in a great baseball league. I mean, our conference is really strong at baseball, and we showed that this past year.
Success on that one. Chase Conk, Vice President, UTRGV. He's also leading the charge when it comes to the athletic program at our university. You mentioned $180 million of brick and mortar projects, right?
Yes,
so what is that? What are you constructing?
Yeah, and this is a big part of our journey. If you go back 6 years ago when we got here, we had 16 sports. Today we have 18, right, with the addition of football and swim and dive. Of those 16 sports in 2019, 2020, only 4 had locker rooms. So as you and I are sitting here talking about, looking forward and the evolution of college athletics, it didn't take long to assess and go, gosh, if we're expecting our coaches and our student athletes to compete for championships without a locker room, right, without a place to hang their cleats or to be able to change before practice or after a match. And so we really wanted to address some much needed facility needs that we had. And so the special thing about this is we wanted all boats to rise with a high tide. We knew that football was on the radar. At that time, we didn't know when we would have the opportunity to make our move, but we wanted to make sure that we took care of every one of our programs first before we kicked off.
Okay.
And so between 2020 and 2021, and then the completion of probably mid-2026, we will have completed 13 capital projects, and that's going to touch every one of our programs, every one of our student athletes with either a new or renovated facility.
The football stadium, of course, here it's the Bob and Janet Vacker Stadium here in Edinburgh. The old. It's a new stadium. I was going to say the old soccer stadium, but it's a nice facility. There will be, you will be enclosing, right? Putting bookends, more seats on that facility soon. Is that part of the $180 million expansion?
It is, yeah. Vacker Stadium, and a lot of people ask, how are y'all able to do all this? And you mentioned Bob and Janet Vacker, right? You talk about the philanthropic support that they've not just given athletics, but the entire institution. They are game changers for us, right? They're the wind in our sails. And so when you have that type of support and they lead by example, others follow. And so the support from the community, the season tickets, the donations that come in to support our efforts, that's how we're able to do these facilities. But as you talk about Vacker Stadium in particular, we are expanding the south end zone. We're going to add a couple thousand seats there in the south end zone for our students. We're building out club and loge seating on the north side of the stadium. But it's a pretty substantial heavy lift from a construction standpoint. We've got about 45 days left. It's going to go right to the end to complete the facility, but it's going to be special. And at the Division I FCS level, I'd put it up with any stadium in the country.
Come back and see us soon. Continued success and the best of luck and a great season coming up for football and all the other programs you got going on. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
stopping by,
Sergio.
Chase.
Appreciate it. V's up.
Chase Conk is athletics director for UTRGV, also vice president at our university. This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. We'll take a check of sports next on your station for Astros baseball.
and a grand slam to help the Red Sox pound the Reds at Fenway. Red Sox have won 2 of their last 3. That's sports. I'm Ronza Moss.
This is your station for Houston Astros baseball. Got the Astros tonight, 7:10 pregame from Denver. And next 3 games, the Rockies, and then it's the Dodgers. AccuWeather says highs today should be like mid-80s, and we still have a chance of rain. It's over us in some areas. Check out the Brownsville radar. You can do that at KURV.com. Border Bridge wait times is posted on KURV.com. And see if they've updated these numbers for Brownsville and for McAllen. If you're driving back to McAllen, it's 45 minutes at San Luis. It's the busiest one, 30 minutes at FAR. And if you're driving back to Brownsville, it's about 30 minutes at B&M and at Gateway. News Talk 710 KURV. We got business news. Check of your money up next. Join us at Radio Para Mi. Download the free app.
Once again, futures are slightly lower. That's your money now.
President Trump is suggesting that there will not be a trade deal with Japan.
In a post on Truth Social, the president said the trading partner will be getting a letter from the administration to set a tariff rate. The post comes after months of officials insisting that talks are progressing with trading partners, including with Japan, as well as with India and Vietnam. Trump has previously said that he will send letters to trading partners to establish tariff rates ahead of the July 8th expiration on the pause to his reciprocal tariffs. I'm Chris Coraggio.
AccuWeather says highs for today should be in the 80s, low to mid 80s, thanks to cloud cover and rain. Already have plenty of rain in the area this morning, likely more on the way. Follow that. KURV.com. Go to the weather section. Check out that radar from Brownsville. Got Fox News coming up in 2 minutes on News Talk 710 KURV. Again, we invite you to join us at Radio Para Mi. Download that free app. Join us at Radio Para Mi.
Spotlight on Your Health, brought to you by DHR Health.
For years, Republicans have tried to pass.
This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. It is Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. Show producer Fred Cruz. I'm Sergio Sanchez, along with AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. And we got plenty of rain overnight. And if you check out Brownsville radar, likely more on the way. So we got a very good chance of more rain for today. Highs should be in the low to mid 80s. News on 710 KURV, a service of Jay Gonzalez Injury Attorneys, ready to fight for you. Call 1-800-CAR-CRASH.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. President Trump says he thinks the Senate will pass his one big beautiful bill, but at the moment, Senate Leader John Thune does not have the votes to pass the massive spending bill.
The White House has now sent in some reinforcements. They sent in Vice President J.D. Vance. He's here not so much as the tie-breaking vote, probably more likely he's here to try to negotiate, use his relationships with these senators to try to bring them across the finish line.
Fox's Aisha Hasni at the Capitol. Treasury Undersecretary Scott Besson telling Fox and Friends.
I was just in touch with leadership up on the Hill, and I can tell you we are moving toward a vote today.
The vote-a-rama reaches 24 hours at 9:40 a.m. Eastern Time. President heading today to a new migrant detention center in South Florida dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. He'll take a walking tour of the facility with up to 5,000 beds. America is listening to Fox News.
USDA will be allowing cattle and horses to be brought into the U.S. from Mexico again soon.
In May, the U.S. banned live cattle, horses, and bison imports through U.S. ports of entry along the southern border because of concerns about the New World screwworm in Mexico. Their larvae can burrow into the flesh of a living animal, causing serious and even deadly damage. The USDA has also launched a program to eradicate the screwworm. U.S. Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins says that starting July 7th, some entry points along the border with Mexico will be reopened to livestock. They'll start with locations in Arizona and New Mexico. The port of entry in Del Rio, Texas, will be open to livestock on August 18th, and the point of entry at Laredo will be reopened to livestock on September 15th.
That's reporter Stephen Pickering. Now, reporter Michael Board on how Texas Republicans, they're still pushing more border security legislation, but there's one key piece of legislation that is being left out.
For years, Republicans have tried to pass an E-Verify law that extends to all employers. It was pushed again this session with the help of conservative activist. Celine Rodriguez with the Texas Public Policy Foundation says that mandating a citizenship check will not stop illegal immigration, but it will help.
Mandatory employment eligibility verification system, along with enhanced enforcement, will deter illegal immigration.
The bill passed the Senate, but like past sessions, it died in the House under pressure from the business community. A Pew Research study found that a little more than 8% of the state's workforce is here illegally.
Would you like a chance to own some of the stuff that's in the old Hidalgo County Courthouse? They go to auction on July 11th, inspect everything July 10th, all the stuff in their tables, chairs, bookcases, office equipment. Moderna saying its experimental flu vaccine is showing positive results in late-stage clinical trials, about 25% plus more effective than the previous vaccines. Mark Zuckerberg announcing the creation of Meta Super Intelligence Labs, which will link several teams working on artificial intelligence to try to improve their AI product faster. NASA's live programming will begin streaming on Netflix this summer.
According to a news release, viewers can watch rocket launches, spacewalks, and views of Earth from space on Netflix as part of NASA's efforts to reach a global audience. NASA did not disclose financial details of the deal. However, the agency has noted that the content will remain free and ad-free on the NASA app and website, where it already has live programming. I'm Brian Shook.
In the news the past several days, a story out of Florida where a little girl fell overboard on a Disney cruise ship. Now, more information coming out on what happened.
The Disney Dream arrived at Port Everglades on Monday after a trip to the Caribbean. On Sunday, a girl fell overboard from the fourth deck, and her father jumped in to save her. Crew members sprang into action and rescued them.
You could see all the staff running to the port side. They got their life jackets and rings, and everybody was looking in the water.
One passenger says watching the ordeal left her crying like a baby, and she says the dad is a hero. Another passenger says the scene took everyone's breath away. I'm Michael Kastner.
Did you get that, Freddie? They said the fourth deck, and I'm wondering if it's a fourth deck from, like, not the below decks, but like the ones at the at the starting point up. That'd be like 6 floors, unless it was like 2 below and then 2 above. Either way, that's a painful fall when you hit the water. This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. We invite you to join us at Radio Para Mi. Download the free app today.
This is a fraud alert. It is a crime in Texas for a person to solicit an accident victim for purposes of legal representation. If you have not requested the call or personal visit, report this crime to the Texas Rangers.
My friend Dale Johnson, dear friend, I love this dude, salt of the earth, and help my reputation because I hitched my wagon to his reputation a long time ago. Top roofer, commercial roofer in all of this region, my friend Dale Johnson, now representing an outfit, national outfit, 125 plus years of experience with a stellar reputation themselves, and he is he made a choice to take his reputation and all the offerings for roof repair, roof installation, technology, waterproofing, take it to the next level. That's Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. He's still waiting for your phone call if you'd like to start that conversation. With Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, he proudly represents them and get a free assessment what's going on with your commercial properties. And when we have very rainy weather, downpours, you're reminded, some of y'all being reminded today that you've been forgetting to make that phone call. Well, make it today. Make that phone call. Text my friend Dale Johnson. Tell him, hey, man, I got buckets out there catching some of the water coming down at us from the ceiling tiles. Yeah, make the call now before things get worse. And if you have a new project, trust Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. That name, Waterproofing. Make sure that you have a solid commercial roofing system that will last you for years and years and got all these warranties behind it. Expanded menu of new offerings and services we haven't seen before, plus valued warranties and all that experience. Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. My friend Dale Johnson will get you connected. Start with a free conversation, free assessment of what's going on. Dale's personal number, 956-655-6178.
Celebrate July all month long with our Freedom to Drive event at Payne Auto Group Valley-wide. Over 2,500 new and pre-owned vehicles. Huge Payne discounts. Plus $4 down delivers during the Freedom to Drive event at Payne Auto Group dealerships Valley-wide and PayneAutoGroup.com. Regardless.
Stay connected. Summer is heating up, and so is our local economy. From sizzling business deals to community connections, News Talk 710 KURV and the Radio Potami app are here to keep you in the know. Download the Radio Potami app to stay informed and entertained. Whether it's local market updates, summer events, or the weather, we've got you covered. Support local, stay connected, and tune in to the pulse of Rio Grande Valley business. News Talk 710 KURV and the Radio Potami app, where local